propose a solution. This one is for your assignment. Assignment is going to be delivered on week 3. Okay? Week 3 assignment. So now starting you can form a group already. I guess it's 5 students now. Okay, 4 to 5 students. One assignment team. Okay? You can start to form your assignment team. And now let us have a look on the course structure. Okay, this course structure, there are 2 components. One is the continuous assessment, which is your coursework. Another one is the final assessment, which is your final exam. So for continuous assessment, the weightage is 60% of the course. Final assessment is 40%. And then under the continuous assessment, test is 24%, which is 40%. Assignment is 36%, which is 60%. Okay, to form the continuous assessment. So these are the components of your course. Okay, so I guess you won't have any issue on this one. For test, it's going to be conducted, I guess it's week 9 or week 10. Okay, week 9 or week 10. Okay, so I guess you have sufficient time to get ready for this one. Okay. Now, come on, class, for the notes here, okay, most of the notes, okay, is all in the words form. Okay, somehow you can notice that some of the notes, the paragraph is quite long also. Why I want to put this quite long? Because it's for the convenience of those students who require a more detailed explanation. Understand? So for those students who does not prefer long notes, okay, this one you have to synthesize and summarize yourself already. Understand? Okay? Because this note is created in this way is because allow the student to be more for those students who needs more detailed understanding. Okay? So for those students who prefer short notes, okay, then you have to summarize it out by yourself. You get me at class, okay? Now, start. Computer security, the first one, the first chapter, okay? So this is the first chapter who introduced the concept of computer security to you. So, in this concept, it's more or less it's a very beginning level, okay? We are not going to go in depth in the first chapter, understand? Okay? So, what is a computer security?
Security of the computer.
No, sorry. My question is wrong. What
Software.
is software security?
Security of software.
Security of software.
Wow.
What is UMP? What is
Student details.
Tunku Abdul Rahman University of
Management and technology.
Okay.
小诶。
So it's University of Management Technology. Okay. So yes, what is a software security? Now, when we talk about security, okay, it's very important, it's very crucial. So it's when we develop the system, during the process of development of the system, software development life cycle, okay, is not wait until you come up with the software, then you implement the security features. It's not like that, it's too late already, understand? So, however, it suggests that we should incorporate the security measures in each of the stage of the development. Understand? In each of the stage of the development. Let's say, for example, requirement level, we should identify what is the objective, the requirement of security for the software. You get me? Design, how are we going to design the system, okay, so that the design encompasses, okay, embed certain the required security functions or requirement inside there. Same as the testing and also the maintenance. Understand? Okay? So therefore it is suggested that we incorporate the security measures in each of the stages. Not need to wait until the things coming out, then we put in the security features. Somehow it's too late already.
我想把
Understand? Why too late? Because after your program is being created, then you are going to implement the security features into your program. Somehow you may not be able to implement it for certain features. Okay? And somehow you may need to restructure your program and coding. It may take longer time and more efforts for that. And somehow it may not be so
刚开始不知道就要结束了。
So therefore, it's suggested that you integrate,
这是它的连接。
okay, or incorporate the security development in each of the phases of your software development. Okay, this is what is regarding the first line. Second one, okay, now come to the definition and explanation of software security. Can you see the screen or not? Are you able to see the screen? To read the screen, not see the screen. Can see that. Are you able to read the word on the screen? Is it clear? Why this student so shy one? Is it clear? Are you able to read the screen or not? That side, are you able to read the screen? Mulit yang di kaseti sekalian. Okay, are you able to read the screen or not? Can ah? Anyone not able to read the screen? Can ah? Okay, so then let us have a look on what is software security. Before that, why security is so important? Anyone can tell me why security is so important? Why security is so important for software? Avoid harm. Correct. Okay. So to avoid, to prevent, to reduce the risk on the system. Understand? Security we mentioned is more on concern in preventing unauthorized access to the system. What do you mean by unauthorized access? Unauthorized access got many ways of activity one. Let's say maybe they attack the system using SQL injection. Okay, they steal and modify your data. Okay, and then maybe they send the worms to your system to spoil your system functions. Maybe there is a DDoS or to prevent the user to use the functions. Okay, so these are all regarding concern with the security one. And security one is important because once your system, especially the data is being stolen by the attacker, okay, then the attacker can use the data, okay, to get something that will harm the user one. Let's say they get the user password, they get the user account and password, so that they can make certain transaction using illegally, okay, like using their bank account. Understand? So and then certain functions or level of security, some user may not be, it's not allowed to access certain features in the system. So therefore, you should apply these security features to achieve this target. Understand? Okay? So this is why security is very important. You get me at last, okay? So now, what is software security? What is software security? As according to the explanation in the notes here, okay, it's referring to the effectiveness that the software protect information and its resources, okay? Make sure the access is only intended for the authorized user. In a simple way, we say that to prevent unauthorized access. Okay? So this is the explanation. Okay? However, in the software security, it's just not as simple as we just implement the security feature. when we want to implement the security features, there are many steps that we may follow, many activities that we may follow. For example, threat modeling. For example, risk assessment. Okay. For example, follow some standard secure code policy. So these are some example of activities of practices. Okay, we can apply when we want to implement or develop a secure software. Understand? Okay. Now, continue. Okay. So in order to apply or develop a secure software, okay, we must be very proactive. You don't expect the user will tell you, okay, what kind of security they need. Understand? Because users somehow they may not be able to tell you. And then they just say, don't let the people to access my account, my data like that. How they know? But to you, you are the software engineer, you are more concerned, you are not only concerned on what security features and also how are you going to come out, implement, develop these security features into your software. Understand? Okay? So, now there may be some framework you may need to apply. Okay, let's say for example you are performing threat modeling. Later we will talk about threat modeling. Okay, so then what kind of framework you are going to apply? Okay, so what are the secure code policy that you are going to use when you're doing your codes? Okay, so you may think of other steps that you're going to follow. So these are the activities, the practices concerned with the software security. Okay? Now, when you want to implement software security, okay, it's required you not only the IT people, okay, it's for different level of management. Understand? Why? Because different level of management they have a different requirement in terms of security. Okay? Now, continue. Importance of information security. Information security is referring on the security of your info data, okay? Prevent your data, ensure the integrity of your data. Now, look at the explanation and definition. Information security is important for maintaining the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data. These are the three security properties of your software. Okay, confidentiality, integrity, availability. What is meant by confidentiality? By reading the word. Okay, my right, left hand side. Okay, left side. Which row? I can see a student showing a very confident eye contact to me. Yes. One. First, second, third row, wearing white shirt. Now is looking at the handphone one. Yes, brother. What is mean by, what do you understand on the terms of confidentiality? Doesn't matter if you answer wrong, doesn't matter one, okay? Because I like students to communicate with me. Okay, I don't want to just come in and blah 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 and then okay blah blah like that. Okay, so yes, brother. Even though I may not handle your tutorial practical, because the subject is handled by two lecturers. One is, I think it's Dr. Tanampin, another one is me. Okay, so I handle only 2 or 3 groups. Okay, so yes, brother.
Yes, let my brother answer.
You must answer first, then you cannot answer, then your brother will help you one. Don't worry. Okay. Yes. What is meant by confidentiality? What do you understand on the words of confidentiality?
How confident are you?
Confidentiality is more on the privacy, right? Okay, means that what extent the data should be disclosed or shown to the particular user. Different user, they may have different level of confidentiality. Such as certain data may not be disclosed to the certain user. Okay, so this is confidentiality. Integrity SQAT, I guess you have learned already. What is mean by integrity? Yes, brother. Yes, your brother Who's your brother? Integrity. What is mean by integrity? SQAT, this one you have learned already, so fantastic. Integrity, right? One of the cost factors. Is it? Okay. So, what's the other one? Okay.
The quality of the
I thought SQAT before. Okay. Okay, now. Integrity. Very. I think next time I need to print out your name. I can call your name. What is integrity?
ethics.
Okay, group 6. Yes, integrity. Okay. Integrity is referred to the sometimes accuracy, sometimes consistency. Okay, means that the correctness of your system of data. Okay, and then how this data is going to be prevented for unauthorized modification. Integrity. Understand? Okay. And then availability. Availability very easy one. The data should be available when it is needed by the authorized user. Not available to anyone, understand? So means that you are the one who should authorized to access the data. When you want to access this data, it should be available. Understand? Okay? So these are the 3 properties, main properties of a secure software. Okay? So why is so important of information security? Because we want to maintain these 3 properties. Okay. In another word, is to protect from unauthorized access to the information, to the data. Understand? To the data. Okay. So if your information security is strong, so you can apply certain activities such as the access management, encryption, auditing on the data or security features, backup and recover. So these are some of the strong information security measures. Understand? Okay. So continue. Then we come to another term, software assurance. I guess we have come to software quality assurance, right? Software assurance actually is a proactive strategy to make sure your software is reliable, secure, usable, this is software assurance. Software security, the scope is wider than the software security. Software security is more intended on software security, on the security perspective. However, software assurance is not only software security. Understand? It can be, let's say, reliability, understand? Correctness, all these things. So this is software assurance. It's integrate. Now look at this one, the second line. Integrate a variety of best practices, processes, tools, specifically designed to identify and mitigate the vulnerability throughout the software development life cycle. So look back at the first line. Proactive strategy for developing, maintaining, and operating software system and enhancing security, reliability, and trustworthiness. The scope is wider than security. Understand? The scope is wider than security. Not only security, you can more on the reliability also. You get me, class? So this is software assurance. The third one, asking the question just now I asked. Software assurance, software security. Security is concentrate on the security. Assurance includes security but not limited to security. Understand? It include reliability also and the trustworthiness of using the software. Okay, so this is software assurance. Okay? Until here, any question? Class? Any question? No? Look at this one. I guess you have studied introduction to security already, right? No.
This semester.
This semester also. Okay. So now these are the threats to a software security, but not limited to this one. Okay. So phishing, malware, ransomware, SQL key injection, worms, DDoS. DDoS means distributed denial of service attack. Distributed denial of service. Okay. And then we come to the denial of service attack. Okay. DOS, cyber threat, IoT attacks. What is the difference? Do you understand these terms or not, class?
What's that?
What is phishing?
Phishing is non-phishing.
Phishing is phishing lah. Okay. Phishing is what is phishing? Phishing. Let's say for example, I have a website, a bank website, and then if I'm a hacker, okay, maybe I can just simply clone the website, the page, user interface, okay. So when you access to my website, okay, then you log in, I'm going to capture your password and username. Okay, this website is a phishing website. Understand? Okay, this is a phishing. Okay. Malware actually is a very broad term. Okay, it consists of, let's say for example, ransomware, worms or so. So malware is a general word that showing that those software or those program or piece of code okay, that are going to harm and attack your system. Okay, in different ways. Ransomware, okay, when this ransomware is when you're being attacked by ransomware, okay, you may not be able to use the function. Okay. SQL injection, when you look at about SQL, what is meant by SQL? More to database, right? Okay. So they use certain SQL, okay, to steal your data or modify your data. SQL injection. DDoS, distributed denial of service attack. When you being attacked, okay, this function may not be available to the user. But however, DDoS is more on the distributed system. Okay? So then what is the difference between DDoS and DOS? The next one, denial of service attack. Denial of service attack, the source, the attack source is mainly from one source only. From the DDoS is from multiple sources. Understand? Okay? The same meaning, but DDoS is from multiple sources of attack. Okay? Cyber threat is like internet okay? They try to attack a system using various techniques. IoT attack, this one is more concerned on those IoT applications. Let's say smart home. Okay, smart home. When they attack your home camera, okay, they can observe your house situation. How your house furniture is there any people inside your house or not? IoT attacks. Understand? So these are the different threats to software security. Okay? And continue. Therefore, in identify the security threat is very important. Okay? It's very important for us to identify the security threats. So therefore, we may need to perform some security threat analysis. Okay? Security threat analysis. So this security threat analysis actually is for us to identify, analyze the possible threats that may harm our system, and how are we going to mitigate the threats, okay, by implementing certain features, techniques, or whatever. Understand? So this is security threat analysis. Look at the explanation here. The first line. Security threat analysis is an essential cyber security strategy and at enhancing the security protocol within an organization. Okay? So this is security analysis. You can intended for the software itself, but somehow it can be more on the physical environment. How the organizational rules and regulations should be changed or whatever lah. Understand? When by using security analysis, okay, you are able to identify what are the vulnerabilities, security vulnerabilities that need for you to concern or focus on. Understand? Okay? Because throughout the security analysis, there may be a list of vulnerabilities that you are able to identify. However, you may require, allow you to focus, on those who are very serious ones. Understand? Those who are very crucial ones. Okay? So somehow security analysis, maybe you can base on the data that you capture. Maybe the user data or the data in the database. Okay? Then you can analyze what are the possible threats that you have found. This is one of the ways. Okay? Now, continue. What is the benefit of identifying threats? Listed here is 4 benefits. Improve your security posture for the company. Okay? To improve the security posture of the company. Look at the explanation there. Enhance the organization security by identifying the vulnerabilities and enable proactive measures to protect those items that are important to the company. For example, the data. Okay? Regulatory compliance means that by using identifying the threat, you are able to comply to certain standards. Let's say general data protection regulation. I think this general data protection regulation you did encounter before, especially when you register to certain website, perform certain transaction, they may give you such a message, general protection data. And maybe, for HIPAA, which is referred to Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. This one is more on the data on healthcare. Especially, let's say, insurance company, hospital, this information is very crucial one. So when you develop such a software, then you may try to comply to this standard. Another one is the payment card industry. Shopee, use your credit card, bank to make payment. You should comply to this standard also. Understand? So the third benefit, cost saving. So means that when you identify and prevent the threat, help you to save the cost in maintaining the system. Why? Because the threat is not going to harm the system, and then you no need to spend extra effort, to fix the risk, when the incident has occurred. Understand? Business continuity allow the system can be continuously working. Understand? When the attack is performed, then you can prevent this attack. Means that the system is still can work, can operate. You no need to stop the system and that will influence your business operation. These are some standards for secure coding guidelines. OWASP, CERT, Java Secure Code Guidelines. Are you ready? So the explanation of these 3 is in the next slide. Let's start OWASP. This one is a community project in terms of software that are developing a secure software. So OWASP, Open Worldwide Application Security Project, is a community dedicated to provide free resources, articles, guidelines, documentation tools okay, for us to enhance our software security. Okay, and then that is a list called the top 10 list in OWASP. This top 10 list is showing the list of top 10 software threats, which is identified by this OWASP. Got 2021, because from years to years they have new threats coming out. So this list is going to be updated from time to time. So I show you OWASP top 10 list for on. This one need to access to the internet. You can see that this is the top 10 list for 2021. Okay, 2017 one list come out. After that, 4 years, 2021 updated one. You can see that. Okay. Hey, too large already. You can see injection become 3 already. Okay. Broken access control is number 1. Okay. So you can see these are the threats, top 10 threats. Okay, identified by the OWASP. Okay, A1 until A10. Okay, first, broken access control, cryptographic features, injection, insecure design, security misconfiguration, vulnerable and outdated component until server-side request forgery. Understand? Okay, so these are the top 10 lists. So from this top 10 list, then we will know that, okay, which one is very crucial one. Then when you develop software, if your software is concerned with this risk, then you should apply certain measures to tackle of this risk. Understand? Okay? If you have time, please, no, cannot say you have time. Go back and have a look at this risk. Okay? Now, task. When I come to this slide, I want to let you know in the first class. Okay. So this subject, the note is being created from multiple sources. Understand? From multiple sources. That's why you can see the last slide reference there. That is a few references there. Okay. So if you want to further understand this one, maybe you can look on that, okay, or maybe you can go to the Google and look at that, okay. The most fastest way, use your good partner. Who is your good partner? ChatGPT. Now, class, when we talk about ChatGPT, very important, please listen, okay. To me, in this subject, to all those subjects I taught, okay, I did not mind that you are using ChatGPT for your reference to find something. But the thing is, the ChatGPT gives you the answer, you have to understand and check. Understand? First, you have to check whether the correctness of the answer provided. Second, go and read the answer. Understand the answer provided by the ChatGPT. You get me? Okay? So, definitely ChatGPT will save you a lot of time to go finding. Understand? Last time you have ChatGPT, you go to find Wikipedia, Google Scholar, or something. But using ChatGPT is saving your time to find it. But you have to understand the content provided by the ChatGPT. This is the way of learning. Okay? Do not just use the universal language, Control-C and Control-V. You get me? Okay? You won't learn anything one. Understand? Okay? Especially for your assignment. Okay? Especially for assignment. So that's why I plan to deliver the assignment on week 3. Why? Because actually assignment question is already settled. But due to the ChatGPT, okay, I'm still considering whether I want you to do a presentation or not. If I don't give you the presentation, just writing only, I guess you can do your assignment. Tomorrow submission date, tonight, half an hour, send my question into the ChatGPT, and then this is the report already, then submit tomorrow. I found out last semester, your senior, very to my heart. Okay, so therefore, this time, I think your assignment actually accept already. Just that I still consider why I should want you to do a presentation. This is the thing. Okay, I will check with Dr. Tan first. Dr. Tan, yeah. Okay. Okay, so this is my advice. Okay, it's good to you. Okay, don't too depending on the ChatGPT. Because ChatGPT, even though some common questions they can answer to you, but some specific questions, some questions may not be correct. Some answers may not be correct. This is what I found out last semester during the software evolution of attendance. You are going to see me again next semester. For software evolution of attendance. Okay. So, okay, no matter you like to attend my class or not, you still come and see me. Okay, yes. So, we continue. Okay? The other standard. Hang on. CERT. Okay, CERT. This is another standard okay? Computer Emergency Response Team. Okay, this is sorry, I have to make this easy to read. Okay, is designed to provide critical services and support for managing computer security incident. The coverage of CERT is wider than the OWASP. Okay, the coverage of CERT is more wider, the scope is more wider than the OWASP. Okay, so this is similar. He provides a framework or standard, okay, to an organization to comply to the security standard, to this standard. Okay, so what are the steps, procedure, rules, okay, forms, format, okay, when you apply this CERT. Okay, so this is another standard. Java Secure Code Guidelines, this one is intended for Java. Okay, so it's the best practices for you to code. Secure coding, what you call. Okay, not only code, it's a secure coding. The practices guiding you, how are you going to create a secure code. Okay? Now we come to SDLC or SDL. Security Development Life Cycle. In another term, it's called Secure Development Life Cycle. Okay, please take note. SDLC, Security Development Life Cycle. In another term, it's called Secure Development Life Cycle. Same thing. Same thing. Okay, some say SDL, some say SDLC. Actually, it's referring to the same thing. This SDLC is not software development cycle, it's secure development life cycle. Okay? So some say it's security development cycle, same thing. Understand? Same thing, Take note, Okay, what is this? It's a framework, okay, that with security best practices into every single phase of your software development. In the earlier of the class, I said it's suggested to incorporate or integrate the security measure into each development. Okay, how you may do have any idea. Okay, then you can apply this one. One of the example is from the Microsoft SDL, Microsoft Secure Development Lifecycle. You can follow the practice of Microsoft. Okay, but not limited to Microsoft Okay, just an example. Okay, so this secure development life cycle is it's a framework guiding or helping us, to incorporate security practices in each of the phases of our software development. Do you realize that when you develop develop your software, even though your project. Okay, what you do, you just more concentrate on the functional requirement. Okay, how many of you is concerned on take notes on your non-functional requirement in your project? Any student fall under my supervision on project 1? Any student? Any student here? You are doing project 1 this semester, right? Is it? Any student fall under my supervision? I guess got 10 students. Never mind. Later I deal with those my students. Okay. So there has been MIA for the whole semester break. Okay. Then we leave that later. For your project, how many of you is dealing with non-functional requirements? No, most of you is concerned with the functional requirement, right? Okay, what is the function to perform scanning, AI, all these things? Then, do you think of non-functional requirement not in the project? You should understand. You should tackle a few important non-functional requirements. Okay, for security, we come back to here. For security, we come to this secure development cycle. These are the activities. Activities, not phases. Activities. Okay. 1. Defining security requirement. You have to identify and define your security requirement. Okay. Second, perform threat modeling. Threat modeling actually is activities that you identify, analyze, model maybe from the diagram. Okay, so to identify the threats that your software should focus on. Understand? To prevent. Then conduct the testing and then ensure compliance with the regulatory obligation. So means ensure your security fulfills certain standard. Understand? Why want to fulfill certain standard? Why not just I can prevent this one, I can prevent that one, sufficient already. Why want to fulfill the regulatory obligation? Why need to fulfill all those ISO, all these things? Anyone? Yes. Our brother. First, second row. Very, three of you very respect one. Okay. Second student. Wearing white shirt. Yes, brother. Why? We need to ensure compliance with regulatory obligation. We already put in the security already. Okay, I have prevent this one, prevent that one. Why we still need to make sure that we comply to this standard and rules regulatory? Why? Class. Yes? Yes, brother. Can get the cert. Why do you need to get the cert? Certificate Why you need to get the certificate from the ISO or other standard? Now, class, all these standards they provide us something or guidelines or guidance okay, on what sometimes normally is what we are going to achieve. Understand? In terms of security. So by complying to this standard, it tells the user or the company that okay, we have fulfilled such standards. So more or less we have our security of the software okay is up to a certain level. Understand? And then this will provide confidence. Understand? To the user. You get me? Provide some confidence to the user, okay, in using our software. Understand? Okay? So, these are some activities. Now, these are some phases in SDL, SDLC, same thing. Same thing, SDL and SDLC. SDL here is secure development life cycle. Okay, or security development life cycle also same thing. Understand? Again, I repeat many times over here. Okay, so you can see that generally there are 5 phases or 5 stages. Start with requirement definition, threat modeling, secure design and development, security testing, and development and maintenance. These are generally the 5 stages for SDL. However, when you go to other sources, there may be 7 stages or more than that. Understand? But however, in general, 5 stages. Okay? So, requirement definition, threat modeling, secure design and development, security testing, deployment and maintenance. Okay? So these are the 5 phases of SDL. Let us go into these phases. What is the start number? Hopefully we can finish the chapter. Okay? So sometimes if my lecture go to the mass already, please alert me, bring me back to the earth. Understand? Okay? So because sometimes I'm talking, I'm talking understand one. Okay? So as usual, please bring me back to the earth. Okay? So requirement definition, first phase of SDL. Okay? So in this first phase, when you look at the word requirement definition, definitely it's during the requirement engineering and requirement gathering. Understand? So in this case, not only the functional and non-functional requirement, okay, you have to define your security requirement also. Based on the functional and non-functional requirement you gather. Understand? Okay? And based on understanding on the software, you have to define your security requirement. What is your with your security requirement, then you may be able to know the objective of your security. And then what are the security is most concerned in your software. You get me a pass, okay? So before any code is written, look at the second line. Organization must conduct thorough assessment on the compliance needs, industry regulation, this is the rules, and potential security risk. But establish clear security expectation means your requirement earlier, okay? Then you can proceed with the design of the system, okay, in order to prevent the risk earlier. Rather than you develop the software, then you notice that this kind of risk happen. Understand? Earlier risk detection. Okay? So identify the security requirement. This one is never a simple task. Okay? This one never a simple task. You may require to perform some of these activities here. Okay? Now, continue. Continue. Okay. The consideration. Okay. In this phase is identify and adhering to the legal rules requirement. Let's say the ISO standard just now we mentioned. Defining the robust access control policy, you need to have a control policy of access. Okay? Data encryption standard. What kind of standard you are using for data encryption? For example, authentication method, okay, to safeguard your sensitive information. This is more on information security. Establishing comprehensive secure coding guidelines. What kind of secure coding guidelines or standard you are following? Understand? You have to establish during this stage because this is the requirement stage. Okay? Once you come to the test coding, then you follow what you have established. What kind of coding policy or secure coding standard you are going to follow. All is establishing here. Understand? Okay? So this is what we do under the requirement definition phase. Continue. Threat modeling. Okay? This is the process. Okay? Identify Because in your requirement, you identify the requirement of security. In here, based on the requirement, you perform threat modeling to identify those potential risks or attack that you may encounter by the system or by the user or whatever lah. Understand? Okay? So threat modeling. And then prioritize the threat. Which one is crucial to you, to the development or to the organization? And then you try to come up with a certain measure to handle this threat. Understand? So these are the activity in threat modeling. You get me at last? Okay? These are the activities in threat modeling. Okay? Look at the step or process here. First, define, identify the possible threats. Define the objective, also possible here. Diagram. From the diagram, what kind of diagram? Maybe from the development diagram, you look at that, okay? Then you see what kind of possible risks that will happen. Identify them, and then decide what kind of techniques, methods for you to mitigate the risk or the threat. And then validate whether your method is okay or not. Okay, is appropriate or not. Understand? So these are the process of threat modeling, the step of threat modeling. Okay, this is a very general diagram. Okay, this is a very general diagram. Still got Okay, so this threat modeling actually is from this reference contra. So now, type of threat model. What kind of threat model you're going to follow when performing the threat modeling? So, first one A is the STRIDE, S-T-R-I-D-E. This STRIDE model is more on the developer focus. Okay, so this one is the Microsoft technology okay, methodology okay. So because this is a very old model, okay, it can say it's very mature. Understand? It's very mature for threat modeling. It includes of breakdown of the process, data store, data flow, and trust boundary. The goal is to get an application to meet the security properties, confidentiality, integrity, and availability CIA. So this is the STRIDE model, okay, by Microsoft. The second one, OCTAVE. OCTAVE is a practice focus, more on practice side, okay. STRIDE is more on developer focus, but the developer focus on the threat. This is more on the practice focus, okay. The OCTAVE method, okay, long form of OCTAVE is operationally critical threat, asset, and vulnerability evaluation. It's a framework, okay, similar, for determining the risk level and planning defense against a cyber assault. Okay? Determine the risk, planning the necessary method, techniques to defend the attack. Okay, so this is OCTAVE. But this OCTAVE overall, they are more practice focused. Okay? And PASTA, C is PASTA, attacker focus. PASTA long form is called process for attack simulation and threat analysis. Okay? So it is more on risk centric. Why? Because it is an attacker focus. So therefore this model is more on risk centric. Okay? So the focus is to identify the risk, classify the risk, and focusing on the highest risk. So therefore it's called as an attacker focus. Okay? So PASTA has the different stages. But in here, chapter 1, we are just introduced only. We are not going to look into details on each of the model. Understand? Okay? But if you are interested, you can look for others and other sources lah. Okay, I believe that you can find easily. Now, the Strike. This one is the extension of Strike. The first one we have from by the Microsoft one. Okay, so this one is acceptable risk focus. Okay, acceptable risk. Okay, so from this track model, okay, you may have requirement model and implementation model. What is requirement model? Requirement model is based on the track model that the security characteristic and assign acceptable risk to each asset. Means that what kind of risk security requirement for this particular asset. Means in another way, what are the risks that are faced by this asset. Okay, so it also coordinates among different security teams. Then implementation model under the track, okay, is a data flow diagram that created which illustrate the what? Right? The flow of data and the user perform action within the system. Understand? Track differs from other track model because it uses risk-based approach with distinct implementation, track and risk model. Okay? This one implementation is based on this. It uses a DFT. Okay? To show the flow of the data and the action that is going to perform by the system. Okay? So this is the track model. Linden is privacy focused. Focus more to the privacy. Okay? Assessment. So this Linden model, it helps the developer, okay, to step by step, okay, to go through each step and ensure exhaustive coverage and documentation of the privacy track modeling process. This Linden model is more helping the user to identify, to measure, to tackle the risk in terms of privacy. Okay? Threat modeling is to maximize the impact of threat modeling. Consider the best practices. What are the best practices of threat modeling? Deconstruct the application into its component, data flow and boundaries. Separate the component, okay, into the system into different small parts and components. And then the data, analyze how the data flow, the trust boundary. Second, utilize established frameworks like Strike, okay, for systematic and comprehensive analysis of threats. Clearly define mitigation strategies. Once you know the possible threat, define the strategies that you are going to apply to mitigate the threats. Okay? Now we come to the third phase, secure design and development. Okay? In the secure and design and development, you may need to follow some secure coding principle, okay, during the design and development of your software. Okay? So you should follow this framework, okay, to implement data validation, data verifications, apply the security principle, okay, of least privilege to safeguard your application. Okay? So in this design and development, you may require to implement different methods, follow different policy standards, okay, in the design and the code of your software. Okay? Then continue. What are the best practices? For example, validate all user input to prevent injection attack. Encrypt sensitive data. Then you need to know what kind of encryption you are going to apply, what kind of encryption standards you are going to follow. Enforcing roles-based access control. Restrict user permission. Different user, different role, different access level. Okay? Utilizing automated security tools to identify vulnerability. This one you may make use of the security tool to help you to detect those vulnerabilities during the development. Okay? Come to the testing, security testing. I guess everyone will know what is the purpose of this one. Okay? Continuously perform evaluation testing or testing on the software to identify the problem, to see whether your security method or strategy is working or not. Anything you have missed out, what kind of threats you may not be able to detect, and so on. Okay, perform a security testing. Okay, so continue. You can see that common security testing technique, for example, static application security test. Static means that we do not run the system. Okay, we go through maybe documentation. Okay, maybe we trace the code. Okay, dynamic is to run the system and test. As you know, dynamic testing is when you test the system by running the system. Penetration test. This one is to try to use some data input, or this testing is to simulate the exact environment, okay, in using the system, okay, then intended for the security. So you may need to treat the system or run the system, okay, in the exact environment. Then you may try to perform a penetration test for that. Software composition analysis. Okay, this technique is to check the third-party libraries for any risk or vulnerabilities, and definitely you are going to test it. Okay, so security testing is most effective when integrated into CI/CD pipelines. What is the CI/CD? What is the CI/CD? I guess you have heard CI/CD already. What is CI/CD? CD. What is CI/CD? Continuous integration and continuous delivery. Am I right? Okay. This is very famous in those DevOps ones. Okay. Once you have deployed your system and maintenance, don't think that when you deploy and implement the system, don't need to have security because everything is already implemented already. No, because from time to time, okay, you may require to update your system, okay, for better security and performance. Understand? Because during maintenance, there may have a lot of things happen. Something you does not think of that also may happen. Because during maintenance means that your system is operating already. It's operating already. So therefore, in the new environment, then you may encounter different risks or security threats. So therefore, during this stage, you must set up a policy, okay, or the rules, okay, in these stages, okay. So let's say, for example, maybe somehow you may critically update the software security using some patches, okay. So these are what will happen in the deployment and maintenance stages. For example, you can see that vital activities: implement comprehensive security logging and monitoring, enforce regular patching and software update. Means frequently update. Okay, certain update now. Not say certain update because when you, for example, you are using Windows, you are forced to update. You cannot say stop the update one. Now I guess most of the company that compulsory for you to update one. You cannot say no one. Okay? So conduct thorough post-deployment security assessment. After you have deployed the system, then you need to check, test, assess the security. Understand? See what is the limitation, which part is lagging. Not lacking. Okay, it's lack of security or exposed to high security threats or so on. This is the conduct current post-deployment security assessment, develop a proactive incident response plan. If anything happen in terms of security, what are you going to do? What is the procedure you are going to follow? What are the steps you are going to put inside? This is the one of the vital activities. Okay? I think it's generation gap. Okay. So when I think that I did not understand my student, okay, so means that I'm getting older and older already. Yeah. It's true. This is true one, okay. This is true one. Okay. It's like it's like when the time my uncle, auntie or my parents